Child's Play 2, the 1990 horror sequel that gave us nightmares for years. But behind that terrifying killer doll, there's a love story, recycled scenes from the original, and one of the most chaotic productions in horror history. Today, we're uncovering 20 shocking facts that will change how you see this classic forever. Fact 1. A Hollywood love story born from Chucky. Let's start with the most heartwarming fact about this horror franchise. Catherine Hicks, who played Andy's mom Karen in the first film, met her future husband, Kevin Yeager, on the set of the original Child's Play. Yeager was the special effects wizard who designed and created the Chucky doll. They fell in love while working on the terrifying killer doll together, and get this, they got married on May 19th, 1990, the same year Child's Play 2 was being filmed. Even though Catherine's character was cut from the sequel, she was constantly on set during the entire production. Why? To visit her husband Kevin, who returned to work on Chucky for the second film. So while audiences were screaming at Chucky, behind the scenes there was genuine romance happening. Fact 2. Steven Spielberg saved the entire franchise. Here's something absolutely wild that nobody talks about. Steven Spielberg is the reason we even got Child's Play 2 and all the sequels that followed. After the first film, MGM got a new company president who absolutely hated horror movies. He refused to make a sequel. Multiple studios started a bidding war for the Child's Play rights. But then, something incredible happened. Steven Spielberg, yes, the Steven Spielberg, personally called producer David Kirshner and told him to take the franchise to Universal Pictures. When Kirshner contacted Universal and mentioned that Spielberg had suggested them, the executives immediately made an offer. Not only did they agree to make Child's Play 2, but they also committed to producing all future films in the series. They even let Kirshner and creator Don Mancini maintain creative control, something that would never have happened in a typical bidding war. Without Spielberg's phone call, we might never have gotten the entire Chucky franchise as we know it. Fact 3. The sequel recycled scenes from the original script. Two of the most memorable scenes in Child's Play 2, the brutal teacher murder and the entire climax at the Good Guy doll factory, weren't actually written for this movie. Series creator Don Mancini originally wrote both scenes for the first Child's Play. Back in 1988, they were removed from the original film for various reasons, including budget and pacing. But Mancini loved these scenes so much that he managed to work them into the sequel. That iconic factory finale with all those boxed dolls. That was supposed to be in the first movie all along. Fact 4. The courtroom scene that never was. The original opening of Child's Play 2 was completely different from what we got. The film was supposed to start with a full courtroom scene where Andy's mother Karen would be sentenced to a psychiatric institution for insisting that Chucky was alive. Both Catherine Hicks and Chris Sarandon were supposed to reprise their roles as Karen and Detective Mike Norris from the first film. Sarandon later revealed he declined to return when asked because original director Tom Holland wouldn't be involved. But here's the kicker. The entire courtroom sequence was cut before filming even began due to budgetary constraints. This is why Child's Play 2 is actually much shorter than other installments in the series. They literally removed an entire opening act. Don't worry though, that courtroom scene wasn't wasted. It was eventually recycled and used as the ending of Curse of Chucky in 2013, over 20 years later. Fact 5. The evidence locker with horror icons. Remember that scene in Bride of Chucky where there's an evidence locker containing Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers' iconic masks? That wasn't originally written for Bride of Chucky. That scene was supposed to be part of Child's Play 2. The idea was that after the events of the first film, Chucky's remains would be stored in a police evidence locker right alongside masks from other famous horror villains. According to series co-creator Don Mancini, this was meant to be a fun Easter egg for horror fans, a shared universe moment before shared universes became a Hollywood trend. But when the opening courtroom sequence got cut, so did this evidence locker scene. The concept sat unused for 8 years until they finally brought it back for Bride of Chucky in 1998. Fact 6. The film was originally set at Christmas. Don Mancini revealed that in an early draft of the script, Child's Play 2 was supposed to take place during the Christmas season. This would have perfectly explained why the toy factory at the end of the film was working overtime and producing so many Good Guy dolls. During the holidays, toy factories run at maximum capacity. However, This Christmas setting was completely cut during rewrites. The only remnant of this idea is the sheer number of dolls we see in that factory finale, which now seems a bit random without the holiday context. Imagine how much creepier that ending would have been with Christmas decorations everywhere and holiday music playing while Chucky hunts Andy and Kyle through rows of dolls. Fact 7. Christine Elise almost missed her audition for Baywatch. Christine Elise, who played the badass foster sister Kyle, almost didn't get the role because of a scheduling conflict with Baywatch. Several actresses auditioned for Kyle, including Shannon Doherty, Christy Swanson, and Holly Marie Combs. Christine Elise had already impressed the casting directors, but she nearly missed her crucial follow-up audition because she was filming an episode of Baywatch. Fortunately, she managed to make it to the audition, and the rest is horror history. Kyle became one of the most beloved characters in the franchise, a street-smart, rebellious teenager who could actually hold her own against Chucky. Interestingly, this was Elise's first major film role, and in interviews, she said she was insanely excited and would hang around on set even on her days off because she loved every second of it. Fact 8. Alex Vincent was only 7 and worked insane hours. Alex Vincent, who played Andy, was only 7 years old during filming, and child labor laws made the production incredibly complicated. Vincent could only work a certain number of hours per day and had to spend time with his tutor. This meant the crew had to shoot every scene in a very specific order. They'd film the wide establishing shots first, then rush through all of Alex's close-ups so they could send him home before his hours ran out. Here's where it gets even crazier. After Alex left, they'd shoot all of Chucky's scenes. Chucky required 9 union puppeteers to operate, making him incredibly expensive to have on set. So they'd film Chucky's parts, then send all 9 puppeteers home. Fact 9. Brad Dourif never came to set. Despite being the voice and soul of Chucky, Brad Dourif never actually came to the set during filming. Dourif recorded all of his dialogue as Chucky in advance at a studio. This actually worked out brilliantly because it allowed his words to match up with Chucky's facial movements better than in the first film. Christine Elise revealed in interviews that she only met Brad Dourif once. He came to rehearse scenes with her, then went to the recording studio to record them. After that, he never appeared on set again. The funny thing is, decades later when they both attended a horror convention in 2018, Dourif and Kevin Yeager, the special effects wizard who brought Chucky to life, met in person for the first time, despite their long collaborative effort creating one of horror's most iconic characters. Fact 10. The Tommy doll was a shady jab at the original director. Remember that other good guy doll in the film named Tommy? That name wasn't chosen randomly. It was allegedly a subtle insult directed at Tom Holland, the director of the first Child's Play. According to behind-the-scenes stories, Tom Holland and series creator Don Mancini didn't get along very well. Their creative differences were so intense that Holland declined to return for the sequel. Some sources suggest that the scene where Chucky breaks and then buries the Tommy doll was a not-so-subtle jab at Tom Holland. It's like they were symbolically burying the original director. Fact 11. Kevin Yeager had to step in as director. Kevin Yeager wasn't just the special effects supervisor and Chucky's creator. He also had to become an impromptu director during the shoot. Whenever the Chucky dolls malfunctioned on set, which happened frequently, Yeager was forced to step in and direct several scenes himself. This is wild because he had zero directorial experience at the time. But here's the thing. Yeager pulled it off. Despite never having directed before, his scenes worked beautifully because he knew the Chucky doll so intimately. He understood exactly what the puppet could and couldn't do, which angles worked best, and how to maximize the effect. Production sources say Yeager acquitted himself quite well as an impromptu director. His technical expertise with the doll translated surprisingly well into directing actors around it. Fact 12. The same jacket appeared in Kindergarten Cop. Here's a bizarre piece of cross-promotional symmetry that nobody noticed. Child's Play 2 and Kindergarten Cop were both released by Universal in 1990, and they share a very specific costume. Actor Adam Wiley appears in both films, but that's not the weirdest part. In the final act of Child's Play 2, Andy wears a distinctive blue and yellow jacket when he makes his way back to the foster home. Now look at Kindergarten Cop. Actor Miko Hughes, who you might remember as the terrifying kid from Pet Sematary, wears the exact same jacket throughout the entire film. Universal clearly recycled this costume between productions to save money. So that innocent jacket from an Arnold Schwarzenegger comedy also appeared in a horror film where a possessed doll tries to steal a child's soul. Talk about versatility. Fact 13. The director wanted a child's perspective. Director John LaFia had a very specific artistic vision for Child's Play 2. He wanted the entire movie to be shot from a child's perspective. More specifically, he wanted to show the world from both Andy's and Chucky's points of view. To achieve this effect, LaFia used very wide lenses, extremely low camera angles, bright colors, and deep depth of field. This is why so many shots in Child's Play 2 are filmed from floor level looking up. LaFia felt this was how the world looked to a child. Everything seems bigger, more overwhelming, and more threatening. Over the years, many critics and fans have praised this childlike visual style as being the film's most effective quality. It makes the horror feel more immediate and visceral because we're experiencing it from a vulnerable child's height. Fact 14. Don Mancini had to compete against other writers. When he offered to return for Child's Play 2, the studio forced Mancini to submit his script for approval, while several other writers were also commissioned to write their own competing drafts. There was absolutely no guarantee his script would be chosen. One of those competing scripts, written by Mark Patrick Carducci, would have involved Andy being sent to a mental institution after the murders in the first film, a completely different direction. Thankfully, Mancini's script was selected, and he's since written every single entry in the series. But imagine if they'd gone with someone else. The entire franchise could have been completely different. Fact 15. There was a darker alternate ending. The theatrical version ends with Andy and Kyle walking out of the factory, uncertain of their future. But there was an alternate ending that only aired on USA Network and Sci-Fi Channel broadcasts. In this darker version, after Andy and Kyle leave, the camera returns inside the factory. We see a vat of molten plastic, and it begins collecting all of Chucky's remains, including his blood, and mixing them into the plastic. Then, a new good guy doll head is created without hair or eyes. The head makes an evil grin and literally devours the camera before the credits roll. This ending implied that Chucky was somehow being reborn in every good guy doll made from that plastic. It's way more disturbing than the theatrical ending and would have made the threat feel much bigger. Fact 16. The film was shot in 56 days. Unlike the first film, which was mostly shot on location in Chicago, Child's Play 2 was primarily filmed on the Universal Studios lot in Universal City, California. The entire production lasted just 56 days, with a budget of $13 million, about $1 million more than the original. The Play Pals factory sequence, however, was shot in an abandoned warehouse in Valencia, California. Principal photography began on November 6, 1989, almost exactly 1 year after the first film was released. They were incredibly rushed to get the sequel into theaters by November 9, 1990, exactly 2 years after the original's release date. The tight timeline meant long days, stressed crew members, and those complicated scheduling issues with child labor laws for Alex Vincent. It's honestly impressive they pulled it off at all. Fact 17. Christine Elise treated Alex Vincent like a little brother. Because Alex was so young, just 7 years old, Christine naturally took him under her wing and treated him like a little brother. Years later, when they reunited at a convention, Alex told Christine something incredibly touching. He said he remembered her as the person that was nicest to him during the shoot. Considering how long and demanding those filming days were for a 7-year-old, having someone looking out for him must have made all the difference. To this day, Christine says Alex feels like my real little brother. They've remained friends throughout the years, and both returned to reprise their roles in the Chucky TV series decades later. That on-screen chemistry? Completely real. Fact 18. Gene Siskel gave it 0 stars and called it trash. Critics were not kind to Child's Play 2. Gene Siskel gave it 0 stars out of 4 and called it a vicious, ugly little thriller. But he didn't stop there. On Siskel and Ebert's Worst of 1990 show, Siskel went even harder, accusing director John LaFia of prostituting himself. Then Siskel did something really bizarre. He rhetorically asked the audience, who was this trash made for and would you want to sit next to them in a theater? Essentially insulting anyone who enjoyed the movie. Meanwhile, Variety wrote that it was another case of rehashing the few novel elements of an original to the point of utter numbness. Despite the critical hatred, the film opened at #1 in the United States and grossed over $35 million worldwide on a $13 million budget. Audiences loved it, and it's now considered a cult classic. Fact 19. The film led to a third movie. 9 months later, Child's Play 3 was released, just 9 months after the second film hit theaters. That's an insanely fast turnaround for any movie, let alone a horror sequel with complex special effects and animatronics. This rush job is why Child's Play 3 feels noticeably different in tone and quality compared to the first two films. They didn't have time to properly develop the script or let the actors and crew recover. Alex Vincent was aging rapidly, so they had to time jump the story 8 years into the future, with Andy now being a teenager at military school. The rushed production showed, and it's often considered the weakest of the original trilogy. Fact 20. The film crew went on strike during filming. Here's something dark that happened behind the scenes. The International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees actually picketed the shoot. They were demanding that the production company stop using non-union employees. The situation got so heated that the crew voted to sign a union contract in January 1990, shortly before filming wrapped. This labor dispute added even more stress to an already chaotic production. Between the tight schedule, the child labor restrictions, the complicated puppet work, and now union issues, it's honestly a miracle the film got completed at all. And there you have it. Smash that like button and subscribe for more behind-the-scenes facts. Drop a comment telling me, what's your favorite Chucky movie?